Hello everyone, I'm Jim Rohn, and I'm delighted to have you here for this special video. Imagine this: one day, everything seems fine, you're talking, connecting with someone important in your life. Then suddenly, without any warning, they disappear. No messages, no calls, no explanation. You're left in an emotional whirlwind: confusion, hurt, maybe even anger. You ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Why did they do this to me? Is there a way to fix this or even move on? If you've ever experienced this feeling, especially when dealing with an avoidant personality, then this video is for you. Today, I'll uncover a deep psychological perspective that few people talk about regarding why avoidants suddenly cut off contact. More importantly, this insight could completely change the way you react and how you perceive yourself in these relationships. Stay with me until the very end, because I promise you'll discover something that could change the game, not only saving your emotional well-being, but also making you stronger than ever. If you don't want to miss out on powerful insights like this to master your emotions and relationships, hit the subscribe button now and let's begin this journey together. In any situation involving emotions and relationships, the first step is always to pause and reflect on yourself. Take time to listen to what is happening inside you, to ask yourself what truly matters and is essential for you in that relationship. This is not just a simple action. It is the beginning of understanding yourself, from your deepest desires to the boundaries you do not want anyone to cross. If you do not define these things, it becomes easy to accept what is unreasonable, only to later face discomfort, even regret, for letting things drag on without speaking up. If you are independent, capable of finding joy within yourself, and understand that everyone needs their own space, then a few days without contact might not be a big deal. To you, it might simply be a natural pause, an opportunity for both sides to temporarily live in their own worlds. But if you are someone who worries easily, who is sensitive to even the smallest changes in the way your partner behaves, that distance can feel like a burden. A few hours without a reply might still be within your tolerance, but when it stretches into days and then many days, the feeling of abandonment slowly creeps in, making you question your worth in their eyes. This is not weakness, it is simply how your mind responds based on your emotional needs. Therefore, the most important thing is to clearly recognize your own needs. Ask yourself, what do I truly need to feel safe and valued in this relationship? Maybe you don't mind if your partner occasionally needs time alone, but if their absence becomes a habit without explanation, feelings of hurt will arise. It's like a small crack that you ignore at first, but over time, it can widen and break the trust you have worked hard to build. To prevent this, set your personal boundaries, not to control others, but to protect yourself. You know what you are willing to compromise on and what crosses the line, making you feel like you are betraying yourself. Setting boundaries is not easy, especially when you fear it might create tension or distance in the relationship. But remember, a healthy relationship is not one where you sacrifice your own comfort just to keep the peace. If you stay silent and accept things that make you uneasy, you will gradually lose confidence and joy in the relationship. On the other hand, when you dare to speak up about what you need, you not only protect your mental well-being, but also create an opportunity for both sides to understand each other better. Your partner may not realize that their silence is hurting you, and an honest conversation can help them see it. The second step, after identifying your needs, is to open up and communicate honestly with the avoidant person. Don't rush in like a storm, approach them gently, like a cool breeze carrying sincerity. You can start with a statement that is both thoughtful and warm. I know you're the kind of person who loves to fly free like a bird, needing your own space to breathe, and I truly respect that. But for me, an ideal relationship is like a dance. There are moments of closeness and moments of distance, but it can't always be distant. If you need a day to recharge, I completely support that. But when the second day passes in silence, I start to feel like I'm standing alone on an empty stage. What do you think about finding a rhythm that allows us both enough freedom and enough connection? This approach is not only gentle but also opens a door for both of you to step through together. You show them that you understand and respect their personal world while subtly placing your own needs on the table. The key here is not to turn the conversation into a tense confrontation, but rather a casual coffee chat where you share without imposing. When you make it clear that you also need just the right amount of closeness, they will realize that a relationship is not a one-way street where only their needs are met. The bigger goal is to turn this into a lively dialogue where both of you paint a shared picture. You might not find a perfect solution immediately, and that's okay. But at the very least, both of you will have a clearer view of each other's emotional map. To achieve this, make sure you enter the conversation with the calmness of a still lake. If you're burning with anger or anxiety, everything can quickly turn into an unwanted drama. Once the door to communication has opened and the avoidant person agrees to try making changes, don't let everything drift into ambiguity. Make your agreements as clear as a weekend outing plan. You might say, if you need an evening to immerse yourself in your own world, or a day to drift with the clouds, I'll happily support you from afar. But just give me a small signal, something like, I need a little break today to recharge, let's talk tomorrow. That way, I won't be left guessing, wondering whether you're busy or have simply forgotten about me. This approach not only helps you avoid feeling suspended in midair, but also sets clear expectations as bright as the morning sun. If they respond that they need a little more time, you can be as flexible as a skilled dancer. A day and a half is fine with me, as long as it doesn't become a weekly habit or something that repeats every few days. Let's give it a try, shall we? The core principle is to always stay aware of your own limits. Don't nod in agreement just to maintain peace, only to end up silently carrying resentment. If you reluctantly concede while feeling uneasy inside, sooner or later, that frustration will swell like an overinflated balloon just waiting to explode. So stand firm on your own feet. Protect your personal boundaries as you would guard a precious treasure. A worthy relationship is not one where you hurt yourself for the sake of temporary peace, but one where both partners dance a tango, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always in harmony. At some point, after you've patiently waited, opened up in conversation, and mapped out all possible ways to keep this relationship shining like city lights at night, yet still find the other person standing motionless like a statue, it's time to stop and look straight into the mirror. Ask yourself a sharp question, like a knife slicing through the fog: is this game still worth betting my time, emotions, and heart on? Because the truth is, a relationship is not a lottery ticket where you just keep hoping to win without the other person even buying one with you. Imagine the relationship as a garden. You have watered it, pulled the weeds, even sung lullabies to make the flowers bloom, yet if the other person just stands outside the fence, arms crossed, watching you sweat without lifting a finger, then that garden will wither sooner or later. You are not the only gardener in this story. A worthwhile relationship is like a partnered dance. Both must step together, turn together, and maintain the rhythm. It cannot be a solo dance with one person merely sitting in the audience, clapping absent-mindedly. So if you realize that they have no intention of changing, that they won't take even a single step to meet you halfway, then don't weave more rosy dreams to deceive yourself. Have the courage to pick up the magnifying glass and scrutinize the truth. Is this relationship still a safe harbor for me, or just a drifting boat that I keep trying to anchor? You don't have to be the one sacrificing endlessly, clinging to a floating log in a raging river just to prove your loyalty. Your value is not measured by how long you can endure, but by how well you know when to stand up, dust yourself off, and walk away when necessary.